Owning rental properties can be extremely passive or can be a lot of hard work. In this video, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of doing property management yourself or completely hiring it out. It depends on a lot of things, so we're going to go over what questions you should be asking yourself and what questions you should be asking other property management companies in order to provide the best service for what you're looking for. This is part 4 of a 5-part series where I'm going over 5 things that you can do to get ready to buy your first rental property in the next 30 days. Fun fact, housewarming parties used to be a celebration of paying off your mortgage. People would have their friends over once they paid off their loan and they would burn the loan paperwork. Sounds like a creepy, weird Dave Ramsey ritual, but to each their own. If you didn't know that, hit the like button, I'd appreciate it. To me, financial freedom is having enough money come in every single month passively that all your actual expenses are paid for on the very first of the month. So when I got started, I went back and forth a lot. I hired out property management at first, then we took it in-house and did it ourselves, then we hired it back out, now we're back in-house. I learned a lot through that process. I learned what to look for when you're looking for property management companies. Not everybody is made to be a property manager. If you have the time, if you have the right attitude, if you have the right personality, doing it yourself may be the right answer. But if you don't have time or energy, or you don't really understand the rules, it might be best to outsource and hire out property management at first. You can always change your mind like I did, but let's try to get you on the right path from the beginning. So I know a lot of people that don't use property management companies because no one's gonna manage your property like you, right? They're a company, they're only really worried about filling the units and collecting rent. They're not worried about actually taking care of the property. It's not their investment, it's your investment. So I know a lot of people that don't use property management companies for that reason. Also, it costs money. They're not gonna do it for free. They're providing a service, but then they're also making money on top of that. And a lot of people think that I'm not gonna pay somebody else just to collect rent. While both those statements have some truth to them, they're not completely true. A good property management company is going to do way more than just collect rent. They're gonna properly screen the tenant. They're gonna follow all the rules because you can unknowingly break laws if you treat tenants differently. You have to treat all tenants the same. So if you're new to this, hiring somebody out to collect rent also will protect you from legalities of maybe getting sued by accidentally or purposely treating tenants differently. They're gonna collect rent, they're gonna run the credit score, and they're gonna take all of that work off of you. Approving a good tenant probably takes 2 to 3 weeks, as well as maybe 10 to 20 hours worth of actual work. It's not just reviewing a lease and approving. There's lots that goes into it. So having that kind of prior assumptions to what property management companies do and don't do, there's some truth to it, but they do way more than just approve tenants. Some cons of hiring out property management is it costs money. You're paying them to provide a service. I don't really look at that as a con though, because you're buying time. If you're not spending the time approving tenants and dealing with maintenance and spending all the time that goes into properly approving a good tenant and then properly managing a good tenant and managing the property, you're buying yourself a lot of time. And you can do whatever you want with that time. You can have fun with it, you can have freedom with that time. You can also go buy more properties or do more productive things. Saving 10, 20, 30 hours a month, you can spend more time with your family, but you can also go out and spend that time and energy trying to find more houses or find more deals or make more money with whatever you want to do. So depending on your personality type, hiring out property management might be good for you or might not. So for example, if you love managing people, if you like processes, if you have a firm back and don't get pushed over and you're an assertive person that is willing to take the steps necessary to communicate with tenants, property management in-house might be perfect for you. If you're the type of person that's really nice and you let people take advantage of you sometimes and you don't always hold firm, property management might not be for you. We have amazing tenants, but they're people like anybody else. You give them an inch, they're gonna take a mile. So if you are someone that's likely to fall for my 8th grandma died this month, so I can't pay you rent, if you're gonna fall for that story, and the tenant's gonna owe you rent 3, 4, 5 months down the line, and then that property is screwed because you didn't collect rent for a half a year, and now you're gonna take a long time to get that money back. So if you are one of those sobbing hearts, and I love you, that's great, we need more of those people in this world, property management might not be the best for you. Treat the tenant fair, you need to treat yourself fair and your business fair, and you need to set guidelines and expectations, and you need to stick to those expectations. People hire out property management for different reasons, and it kind of depends on where they are in their journey. Like I said earlier, if you're brand new to real estate investing, you're probably gonna want a guide and somebody to show you the ropes on how to properly property managed. So why would a seasoned investor hire out property management? They would because they want to scale. They don't want to start a whole business just to manage their portfolio. They want to just focus and concentrate on buying new properties and growing and scaling that part of the business and let somebody else manage the back end. The ball is in your court. This is a football, it's played on a field, but you get the analogy. When you're interviewing prospective property management companies, you have the asset. You have the thing that they want, so interview them like a business partner, but know that you have the power. So let's talk about the 3 questions that I think you should definitely ask. So first, you're gonna wanna know how much they cost to run their business. There's a ton of different ways they can slice it up. They can do monthly, they can upcharge maintenance, they can charge fees for certain things. Just find out what their fee structure is. The second would be to find out a little bit more about their business. Find out how many properties they manage, what type of systems they use, how many employees they have. Just try to get a better feel for their business. The third question you're going to wanna ask is what types of asset classes does this property management company manage? Because managing single family houses and managing apartment complexes or commercial is completely different. We actually have 2 separate property management companies. One property management company manages all our houses. The other property management company manages all our apartment complexes and storage facilities. So even internally, I have 2 completely separate property management companies that manage different asset classes. While someone can manage both, and that might be okay if the systems are in place to do that, I like the idea of someone being an expert in one asset class. If you got any value out of this video and are still watching, hit that like button. I'd really appreciate it. Subscribe to this channel and check out this playlist above where I talk about this entire 5-part series of how you can get your first rental property ready to buy in 30 days or less. See you on the next one.